What is up, guys? Old Line Games here, back with another video, and today we're taking another look at NZXT Build. Now, I know I already did a video on this, but I think it's still relevant because two main reasons I'm making another video. One, Ed from Tech Sources recently did a video on it, and I know that video was sponsored, so I not that I didn't trust the video because I know he's a very reputable source, but I know some of the things that he said I think were definitely motivated by the fact that he's being sponsored, and he would have been more critical had he not been sponsored. And secondly, they added a new thing right here where you can switch it to 1440p, so that's pretty cool, and I thought we would just take a look at maybe you get more value at the higher resolutions. Also, I just wanted to see if you get more value for your money in any regard, because the last one, I know for me it just didn't make sense. Like, why would you spend this much more money for that performance? It's just stupid. But I get people are who don't like to build computers are willing to pay a little bit more. It's just, I think there are other brands of pre-built that will give you better value for your money. I guess here you're just paying for the frame rate guarantee, but you could just find their frame rate guarantee and price out a comparable system on like CyberPower PC or something like that. But for all of these builds, I chose games that I know are demanding and games that I actually know and like. So I chose Grand Theft Auto, Fallout 4, and Battlefield 1. I chose these mostly because I know in my head if the frame rate estimate's going to be accurate or not. Not saying that I have like a range of all hardware, but my PC has gone from having a 960 in it, which is lower end than any of the cards that you'll get in here, all the way up to having a Titan XP, which is what I have in it right now, and that is higher end than anything you'll get in here. So I know what these games perform at the peak, and I know what they perform at like the bottom. So I think these games are just good metrics, and we're going with 1440p. So let's jump into the first build. So as usual, there's the price things, and you know, they recommend 60 FPS for every game, because why would you want to play the game at 30 FPS on PC? Just buy a PS4 if you like 30 FPS. So first one is for the 750 range. This is by far the worst one, and if you look at the spec list, you'll see why. First of all, let's just go down. S340, okay, they're pushing the NZXT cases. Can't blame them for that, and they'll do that in any build. You have to use an NZXT case, but I have an NZXT case. I like it, and I think other people should buy them too because they're really good cases, so I'm not faulting them for that at all. But this is where it gets stupid. So there's a Ryzen 5 1600. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Great CPU. You can overclock it. It's 6 cores, 12 threads, so if you like streaming, video editing, whatever, you can do that. Here's where it's just really dumb. 1050 Ti, okay? This is I don't get my head around it. I can't get my head around this. How their algorithm thinks that a 1050 Ti with 4 gigabytes of VRAM will be able to play any of these games at 60 FPS. Come on. Like, you gotta be kidding me. It's just not gonna happen. I know for a fact it's not gonna happen, because my 960, it wasn't as good as a 1050 Ti. It was closer to a 1050, but I had the 4 gig of VRAM model. It just couldn't do 1440p. 1440p is too many pixels for a card like that, and you can look at any YouTube benchmarks video. And the main reason I'm beefing with this is because they say that it's using each game's highest graphics setting. Okay, if that's a big statement to make. So you're saying that it's gonna run all of these games maxed at 1440p. People use 1070s for maxed at 1440p, and it doesn't always hit 60 FPS. So these claims, I just feel like, are ludicrous. Honestly, I wish I had the money to order this thing and test this out for sure, because if it hit it, I would be amazed, honestly, and I would take back everything I've said. But right as it stands, this is just really dumb. Other than that, everything else is pretty standard in terms of like the configuration. They don't have a great cooler on there. Okay, so on PC Part Picker, a comparable build will cost you around $600 with the same processor and same graphics card, same RAM configuration. And I think that is a much better value than paying $950 for this. For $1,000, you can build a much better PC. And also, there's a lot of issues I have with this. One, it's not close to the recommended price of $750, which is a major issue, because if that's your budget and you pick that and you're getting a computer that costs substantially more than that, that's dumb. And then second of all, I doubt it's going to be able to hit those performance metrics. The only reason I would see someone building a PC like this is if all they play is like 1080p esports games and they need the 1600 to stream them. That's the only reason I would see someone actually building a PC like this, because I think the gap between the Ryzen 5 1600 and the 1050 Ti, I don't think that works well. I would rather pair like a 1400 or a 1200 from Ryzen with that, or from the Intel side, like one of the new i3s or a Pentium. I don't recommend this build at all. I don't recommend you buy it from S340. I don't recommend you build this yourself unless it's that specific use case, or you have a specific use case you know you'll need it for. But let's move on to the next one. So this gets a major thumbs down. So the second one is in the 1250 price range, and this makes a little more sense. So same Ryzen 5 1600, but this time you have a 1070, and that's the major thing here, because now I believe that I can hit these FPS marks. Hitting 60 FPS on Fallout. Okay, it's VSync at 60. It'll easily be able to do that. Battlefield 1, yes, it'll easily be able to do that. Grand Theft Auto 5 might be a little bit lower than 87%, but they do give you a 10% performance margin of error. So, you know, I'll give them that. This performance makes sense. This part list makes sense. The only issue I have with it really is there's no mass storage drive, but you can just throw it in for like $50, get a terabyte drive. So I don't have an issue with that. This system will perform very well. It would be great if you wanted to build it. You can stream with the 1600, but you'd also get awesome performance, and it would work at 1440p. So I give it props for that. It's also closer to the 1250 margin. It's like a little bit more, $130 more, but that's not the gap from the last one, so I'm also fine with that. And finally, it's pretty close to a comparable system. The comparable system on PC Part Picker I parted out was around $1,200. So once you factor in maybe another cooler, the S340 Elite, which is a more expensive case than the one I picked, and a copy of Windows, you're in the neighborhood of that price. So this, if you don't want to build your own PC, this is a good deal. If you want to play 1440p, do this, because this makes a lot more sense than the last one. So the final one is for the $2,500 price range, and still 1440p. And this is what, in my opinion, this is where NZXT Build did the best job, I think. So first of all, this is an awesome system that I would be ecstatic to own this. To have the 8-core processor and the 1080, that would be super awesome. So this is like the one that I'm like, I would actually be hyped about to have. And again, this performance I actually think is a little bit of an undershoot. I definitely think it will be able to hit over 89 FPS on Grand Theft Auto 5, and likewise 100 FPS on Battlefield 1. So you know what, getting above the performance metrics, even if it's outside that 10% margin, you know, I'm not going to discount them for that if that's the case. Again, I really like the choices they went with here, and we can take a look. I've actually parted out the full thing on PC Part Picker, because PC Part Picker only lets you do one build at once. So yeah, that's the reason I didn't have full parts list for the other ones, but I just wrote down the prices, so those prices are accurate. And also another cool thing about this is you have the 1 terabyte SSD, which is really cool. So if you take a look at the comparable system on PC Part Picker, you got the 1700, you got the similar RAM, you got a SSD for a terabyte, or close to a terabyte. It's about 40 gigabytes off. So yeah, it's pretty close, as close as I could get it. And you have the 1080, and it doesn't have the S340 Elite, so that's something that you could factor to the price if you wanted. And that's $1,628. So compared to the 1873, yeah, obviously you're paying a premium, but once again, once you factor in the Windows key and the fact that this is a S340 Elite, so that bumps up the price a little bit. And overall, the fact that you're paying someone else to build it, and you obviously don't want to build it if you're doing this, I think this is actually a really good price offer. So this is probably the one I would recommend if you wanted to play at 1440p. This could also do 4K. So this is probably the best value in my opinion. The middle one's also pretty good value, but this one's actually, I think, cooler. I think this worked the best. But for the low range, terrible. You should not be using build for low range PCs, in my opinion. I don't think it does a good job with that, just from what I've seen so far. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions about NZXT Build, I guess leave a comment in the comment section below. I haven't actually used it. I just like play around with it with the thing. I've never ordered something from it. And yeah, go if you want to use this. My warning would just be to stay away from the lower end, but mid range, high end, I think they'll do a very good job. So yeah, that's it. Peace out, guys.